Hello everyone and welcome to another high-elo game of Age of Empires. Today, chaos erupts at our local Irish pub as supply chain issues have resulted in there only being one pint of Guinness left for two thirsty patrons. And so naturally, civil war is the result as Youpudding in blue and Hoang in red, both playing as the Celts duke it out to determine who will get to imbibe the Soul Scrummy Stout. And so while the players heard their herdables explore their immediate surroundings and try to get their butts up to feudal, adorable waddle, and probably Castle Age ASAP, why don't we take a look at the one and only civilization we will be watching today? Now, the Celts are a civ built around the need for speed. Their lumberjacks work 15% faster, which is great because the Celts need lots and lots of wood for their primary focus, which is siege. Celtic siege workshops work faster, their siege units fire faster, and all siege workshop units can be upgraded to get 40% more HP. Now, coming back to the need for speed, Celtic infantry do move faster starting in Feudal Age, and their castles and towers can be upgraded to attack faster. And their unique unit is the Woad Raider, the second fastest infantry unit in the game, and one, by the way, that comes with a good amount of HP and a pretty damn strong attack. Now, to feed a big, hungry, growing population, the Celts can steal and convert enemy herdables even when they're standing next to enemy units. We'll see what kind of shenanigans are going to happen on this map, if any, as both players explore their immediate surroundings. Let's take a look at their bases, and then we'll get into a little bit here about these two players, because these are two players who have found some notoriety in the online content, AoE content community. I don't know what the hell to call it. The online Age of Empires world, whether on YouTube, whether on Reddit, Twitter, doesn't really matter. Maybe even OnlyFans one day if we're lucky enough to have Age of Empires explode to that kind of level of popularity. But we'll see. For now, both of them on 11 villagers, primary gold and stone, nice and secure to the back for our Celt in blue. Berry bushes very much forward, and he is pushing those oh so stubborn deer. It looks like he's got additional gold and stone to the front. Has he, by the way, seen these extra sheep? No, he hasn't. So juicy targets here for Hoang to take, and a little bit of extra gold to the backwards position. Has he seen the sheep to the back? Okay, he's seen one. Okay, so Youpudding scouting so far, not great, because he is sacrificing immediate scouting for pushing deer. I wonder what he is scared of. Does he think Hoang is going to try to lame his deer, and so he needs to get them as soon as possible? Is this some kind of new one house meta that our Youpudding is developing? If you're not familiar with the player, like I said, we'll get into that in a second, but he also has a relic to the back, as does he have a bit of extra stone. Forests in a decent location, not terrible. He's got one in kind of the forward position, which he can use to create some semblance of a wall off, whereas Hoang, oh, look at these forests, nowhere close to being able to give him a wall off. Primary gold annoyingly placed at the top of a hill. Where do you even put a mining? I guess you could put a mining camp here, or here, or here, or maybe even here. So not exactly the worst location, but annoyingly placed on a hill makes it visually kind of yuckity yuck for anyone who knows what I'm talking about. His berries are in the back. His primary stone is nice and secure in the back, like Youpudding's. He's got extra gold off the beaten path, extra gold, very exposed to the front. And where is his second patch of stone? It is also off campus. So on the whole, I would give this to Youpudding in terms of base spawn. Both primary resources kind of to the back. He has additional gold to the back, is able to wall off against an opponent who is known to push very hard with siege, whereas Hoang's base completely open. Primary gold also very exposed, as is the secondary gold, if you want to call this secondary and not tertiary. It's got a few resources to the back, but this open bases might be a problem for him. So if you're not familiar, by the way, with who Youpudding is, you live under a bigger rock than I do. This is a player out of Taiwan, I believe. Yeah, he's a member of the TAG clan that became very famous because T90 found his Sicilian build and his Sicilian build order and turned him into one of his infamous legends. So Youpudding, I believe, had 3 videos made about him by T90, which, believe me, is a huge amount of praise to have T90 focus in on you. And looks like even though he scouted very late, even though he pulled the deer first, he is going to maybe discover where his opponent is. So we've got two, like I said, two kind of internet celebrities. Hoang needs no introduction. This is a player who Celts eat TC much, has basically perfected the Celt build order, and I have no hesitation to call him the king of the Celts. He has absolutely wrecked many a player with his Celt build, and by the way, I'm very happy that he is back to playing with the Celts. He's 3 villagers ahead of his opponent, rather 4, forget that, 4 villagers ahead of his opponent, but his opponent's already in Feudal. And so I wonder if Youpudding is going to try to Hoang here with a very fast castle and a very fast rush. He is walling his base off, which suggests to me he wants no aggression against him. Not too sure what these villagers are doing. He's got the food, and he is going up to castle at the 9-minute 50-second mark of the game. Now, if you're wondering how the hell this is even possible, why is he going up so quickly? While Hoang is still in Dark Age and still 20 seconds away from hitting Feudal, this is an incredibly risky opening 10 minutes of the game. This is a gambit out of our Celt that is potentially, if pushed into by your opponent, very deadly, or potentially brilliant. We'll see how it works out for him. For now, he has caught 1 militia moving forward. Hoang still needs 400 food. By the time he even has the food, Youpudding's going to be in Castle Age. So, okay, perfected the Sicilian build. Now he's moving on to encroaching on Hoang's turf here with a Celt build. And I don't think Hoang has seen those. Or maybe he has. He is moving north. So he did see those 2 villagers. I thought he missed them. But that's why I'm not the player. That's why I'm the caster. The 2 villagers have gone into the fog of war. Still no kills apiece. Barracks going up for him. I wonder why a barracks. You already have a blacksmith. You don't need a barracks to get yourself a siege workshop. And there we go. Hoang notices it. What's he going to do? Not much he can do here. Not against... If this was 1 villager, fine. But 2 villagers? I don't even think the militia's going to add anything. And he's adding spearmen. And right as Hoang clicks up to castle, Youpudding hits castle. And immediately, he doesn't care that Hoang sees this. Wow. Okay. So this is going to be a pretty damn fun game. Hoang, as I mentioned, is getting Hoanged massively right now. He's ahead 6 villagers. We'll see if Youpudding sacrificed a little bit too much economy in order to save uptime to go into castle. We'll see if Youpudding is focusing too much on economy, although it's hard to say a player is focusing too much on economy when he's going to hit castle at the 14-minute mark. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, the first kill of the game also going to Youpudding here. He is just ahead in everything but villager count, but loses a spearman of his own. Flags are up. What's inside of you? A scorpion. And it's, okay, ungarrisoned in the nook here. So he's playing it surprisingly cautious for a player that hasn't trained a single villager in 5 minutes. I think he trained... Did he even train 1 in Feudal Age? I don't know if he even trained a villager. I think he was always at 19. But Youpudding is going to need a little bit of support for these scorpions. Infantry does move in, but you are talking basic spearmen. But it doesn't really matter if you're a spearman, if you're a villager, if you're a frog with some kind of shiny knife attached to you. As long as you can get into that minimum range, the scorpions cannot engage into you. A ram pops up. But Youpudding, we'll see if he used his uptime wisely. Hoang is now also in Castle Age. What an absolute crazy game so far. Even though not much has happened, this is a pretty damn crazy game. Hoang's entire army gets cleaned up. And now he's got nothing. He's got nothing to contest 3 scorpions. A mangonel's going to pop. Let's see if it pops out. But it's going to have to contend with a battering ram. Okay, battering ram runs away. Needs to repair it. I love, by the way, that our Celt in blue only has 4 villagers on food. He doesn't need to train more villagers that quickly right now. And so even though I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think I've said this before, I think the optimal number to consistently train 1 villager at a time without any kind of TC idle time is 7 villagers on farms. I think, okay, now he's got 1 villager so on food. So he's not interested in food at all. What he is interested in popping out this mangonel. Let's see what he can get done with it. It pops out. Immediately goes after Hoang's. Hoang's gets clipped. His gets clipped as well, but he's on the high ground, so his gets clipped 25% less. Oh, one of the blue villagers does die. I don't think he's sending any to replace him. And now all of a sudden, this push out of Youpudding is looking very, very in jeopardy right about now, as his entire military might is right in front of us. Right in front of our very eyes. He's got a spearman, a villager, and somewhere, oh somewhere, a battering ram. Oh, with 9 HP. Yeah, he needs to bring forward another villager. Okay, his attack rounds are not great. Hoang's aren't great either. So both players not exactly getting the best shots off at one another. Oh, he damaged, I think, all 3 units here, which is a fantastic hit. Okay, kills the villager, which means Hoang now can't repair for a few seconds as he brings yet another villager forward. You are on repair duty, deletes his own palisade, wants to get here quicker. Hoang manages to get the mangonel. Blue hasn't brought a single villager forward. He's got that one very dead spearman inside that one very dead battering ram. Stiff breeze, and Youpudding's army disappears. And now he's added all the way up to 22 villagers to the 33 of his opponent. He needs more gold. And what is moving ever so slowly across the map? This blue dot is a repairing villager. He's got a hammer. We know what that means. Youpudding's not done. The attack, I wonder if he should have gone mangonels instead of those scorpions. I think maybe mutually assured destruction. I wonder if he thought Hoang would put up a bit more of a human defense with infantry and some kind of cavalry, maybe some light cav. For sure, he definitely thought light cav because he was adding spearmen in for a while. Although the Celts, notoriously without bloodlines, cavalry does have a limited shelf life. Villager repairing. I don't think the spearmen will regain any HP. They don't really heal in battering rams unless there's some new game mechanic I'm not familiar with, or unless I'm just absolutely wrong. A mangonel will pop out of here in a matter of seconds, but there's already 2 more for our Celt in blue, and he is wisely sticking around on this high ground here, which means he can take a shot, whereas Hoang can't. Hoang's mango again loses and again gets clipped, and down it goes. I don't know if this siege workshop is going to survive, even with 2 villagers repairing. This is a lot of Celtic siege here. And now it's down. He's moving into the town center. A replacement being built at the back. So the weakness of this build order is being very apparent right now. And that is the just idle time, not on the, forget the TC, the idle time on the siege workshop. Now it's up and running. Now Youpudding's got 22 villagers, which I'm assuming with all of the tinkering and the stats and all of this is what he needs to continually pump out units from this siege workshop. But for a few minutes there, it was sitting idle. The fields were fallow that day. Oh my god, is Hoang gonna lose his town center? It's being repaired. It's down to less than 20% and he retreats. He is gonna lose his town center, but he is ahead 16 villagers. If he can hold on, he can absolutely recover from this, especially if he keeps picking off some of these units from Youpudding. I wish buildings had idle time stats, but that would make just absolutely no sense. By the way, Hoang getting 2 mangonels with his 1. Villager gets pushed forward by the scorpion. She did not want to be here. Okay, now it's Youpudding's turn to get some value out of his units as he kills a scorpion. And who tried to predict Hoang's movement wasn't successful. No town center means no more villagers, but at this point, Hoang does not need any villagers. He just needs allocation, and what he's going for is a castle. I would say a town center, but he's already got 400 stone, so he doesn't really need to keep mining. Not with 13 villagers. If he can get a castle up and start pumping out woad raiders, the speed and power of that unit is going to absolutely overwhelm Youpudding, especially if all he's got is a few scorpions. So what Youpudding needs here is something that he doesn't have, which is map vision. He needs scouting, some kind of scouting. Gets another red mangonel. But look at the HP on these units. He's sticking around perhaps a little bit too long. Oh man, we're actually stuck at 18 kills apiece. 4 villagers killed by Youpudding, 3 killed by Hoang, who I thought for sure was going to lose that mangonel, but no, it's at 100%. They're both clipping each other. It's amazing. Now Red's going to lose his mangonel for sure. And now Hoang has no army whatsoever. What he does have is 650 stone, and there it goes. There's the castle. And Youpudding needs to see this immediately, or he's going to be in a... I don't want to swear. He's going to be in a buttload of trouble. He's going to be up Shit's Creek without a paddle. Youpudding gets housed, or rather Hoang gets housed for a hot second. He's got a town center, by the way, back up and running. And now Youpudding discovers that there's a castle, so he needs to back away. He needs to actually build some kind of counter infantry army. Maybe add a whole bunch of scorpions. He's got the wood and gold for it. Yeah, he's starting to add more scorpions. He had to buy food so he could train more villagers. Now is not the time to take your foot off the gas pedal. Okay. And more mutually assured destruction, but here they are. Here's that beautiful pantalooned unit that I can never understand why it's so powerful, with a wooden shield, no armor of any kind, long hippie hair, and a whole bunch of tats. But in they move, one peels off to the right to get the mangonel there, and they can take a pounding from these mangonels. But the scorpions are what's going to be really problematic here. The problem for blue is that the scorpions are all over the place. Interesting. Not exactly Roman scorpions with ballistics, but they did catch the quick moving, lightly armored Woad Raider with his big old battle axe. And I feel like this is kind of it for Youpudding. He doesn't have the gold or the wood to train any more units out of here, at least of all a mangonel or a ram or something that can take down structures. So now the shelf life of this army is quite limited. As long as Hoang can keep pumping out woads and, even more importantly, mangonels, they are just going to, and here we go, they're just going to absolutely wreck this army. Oh, he takes a one more bolt, one more. The villager needs to join in here. There we go. Youpudding realizes, but why are you running away? You should be running towards your villager. There you go. It's kind of counterintuitive when, for example, Red was chasing this scorpion here. What blue should have done is turn the scorpion right around and chased into or moved him towards the villager. Because that way the villager will get to the woad quicker, kill the woad quicker, and then be able to repair the scorpion much quicker. And that's it. I don't know what to say here to Youpudding's aggression. He's got no military. The turntables have been turned, as Michael Scott likes to say. And now the idle time for the Celt in blue is going to be significant. And now he's going second down center. Second down center as Hoang moves forward with so many woads. He's up to 5. Armor? No. Attack? No. They are just basic. Spawned as they were born. No upgrades of any kind. Now the town center should be good enough to zone out only 5 of them. Even though I believe they come with a pre-packaged attack bonus against buildings. He's going... he's going monks. He wants to convert this fast-moving unit, which is going to see the second DC. Maybe? Come on, tell me he's going to see it. Okay, now he sees it. So, area of maneuverability here for Hoang is starting to become lower and smaller and tighter. Not too much he's going to be able to get done. I think perhaps I overestimated the quantity of Woad Raiders that he had. Although they will take down a palisade very, very quickly. And look at this construction project out of Youpudding. He knows he's in trouble now. Mangonels have shown up there attacking a palisade so that he can get access to the base quicker. Woads are taking on a house. If they can bust into here, if these mangonels can join, then all of a sudden these wall-offs are kill zones, and Youpudding is just, might as well just GG at this point. Yeah, he's going to be in a buttload of trouble. The Woads catch the running villagers as they try to get into the town center. Will one of them even make it into the blue line? Just barely. Monk pops in to the town center. Monk pops out of the town center. Does not have any kind of resources whatsoever. And there you go. The inherent weakness of an incredibly fast build. I know a bunch of players are going to be trying to emulate this build, and honestly a 19 I mean, a 10-minute castle timing is just ridiculous, or whatever. Whenever I think it was 950 that he was clicking up to castle is just ridiculous. But again, it comes at a cost. Age of Empires is not a game where one side has some kind of magical ability to ignore the economics of the game. If you're going up on fewer villagers, significantly fewer villagers, this is what happens. Your opponent, if they can survive, and Hoang wisely choosing to go after the stone, because once this castle is up, the only thing that can come out of here that can contest it is a battering ram, and that battering ram is easily destroyed by Woad Raiders. And so once this castle is up, it's basically game over for Youpudding, or at least Youpudding's push into this part. And Hoang with the town center rebuild, the reclamation of the land here with this second town center, gets his economy to basically double the size of his opponents. And with this absolute slaughter of villagers, there's nothing Youpudding can do. There's absolutely nothing. He's got one unit, does not have the gold at all for redemption. Not that the Celts even can research redemption now that I'm thinking about it. I think the Celts get redemption, which means he's got literally no answer to these two mangonels except to swarm them with villagers right now. His entire military industrial complex is a proxy. It's there in the front of Hoang's base. He doesn't have a single structure here. There's not a stable, there's not an archery range, there's not a barracks, a siege workshop. There's a monastery that can do jack nothing against these two siege onagers. Not siege onagers. Maybe in the future, siege onagers. Maybe one day they'll grow up, they'll mature, they'll become adults and grow up into siege onagers. But for now, they're just mangonels. And there you go. What a super fun game. Ultimately, it's Hoang who gets to enjoy the stout, the Guinness, the one remaining Guinness. Although by the time this game is over, that Guinness is probably room temperature and might not enjoy it very much. 9 Scorpions to 12 Woad Raiders, peak APM for both. Okay, Youpudding right at the beginning of the game. Hoang, okay, also kind of in the beginning of the game. Yeah, and look, this is what happens. This is a, basically almost a 50% bigger economy, 40 to 50%. Got all of the resources. One adorable rock mined here by Youpudding. But this is just Age of Empires in a nutshell. And this is what I was saying. We have players who watch my videos, thankfully. And if you're going to try to emulate the build order here of Youpudding, which was an interesting build order, one house going after the lumber, going after the deer before even getting the sheep, all that kind of stuff. If you're going to go in a 10-minute castle rush, you better hope that your opponent is as passive as Hoang was, because if they're not, look how easily you crumble. Whether now or whether 20 minutes ago or 10 minutes ago or 15 minutes ago, any kind of push into this base would have crumbled as long as you can deal with the town center. If you can deal with the town center, you're pretty damn good against this kind of build order. And Youpudding cutting corners, put a good amount of aggression for a second there. Ooh, it looked like he was about to topple the king of the Celts, usurp his throne, take his beer. But Hoang held firmly. Got up his siege workshop, it fell, put up another 1 billion villagers on stone, allowed him to get a castle up fairly early, and then he started pumping out that ridiculous unit, the Woad Raider. They do only cost 25 gold, 65 food, and so with the economy that he had, can continue to pump out significant numbers of them. And as long as you can hold the early push, once Youpudding was reduced to Scorpions, there's nothing he can do against structures with Scorpions. At least not very quickly. And Hoang knows that. I mean, obviously the king of the Celts knows exactly how the Celts operates. He knows this civilization about as in and out as I know a Domino's pizza menu. And that is a high level of praise, believe you me. And ultimately, Youpudding tried to Hoang, but Hoang, Mr. Yodim, I'm going to stop with the name dropping. I'm just being silly now. Hoang held, pushed back, repelled the push, got the unassailable castle, and with that castle, I'm surprised he put a little bit back. Both players playing a little bit defensive, if you can call Youpudding's playstyle defensive, with that Scorpion that popped out of here all nice and safe. The castle in the middle, not really in the front position. And once those Woad Raiders came out, that siege from blue was dead. And once the siege was dead, all of a sudden this base is dead. And inexplicably, putting down a second town center instead of committing to a 1 town center, some kind of hold, maybe a barracks, maybe start pumping out some infantry, maybe a stable. You already have the prerequisite right here, and maybe go up to light cavalry. and try to get the siege, because if you can snipe the siege, this is safe from Woad Raiders. This would have been safe from Woad Raiders. Everything would have been safe from Woad Raiders, except maybe town centers if he gets enough Woad Raiders, or except maybe the light cavalry if he gets enough Woad Raiders. And wow, the Celtic Civil War Hoang remains the king of the Celts, but more importantly, he remains the thirst-quenched beer drinker, gets his Guinness, takes the W, but GG in a ridiculously fun matchup, short as it was, to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.